Today was day one of Washington Commanders OTAs. The rookies getting together with the vets, with the coaching staff for the first time this afternoon. Today I got my takeaways and my notes from the first practice, the first full team practice for the Washington Commanders here for the 2024-2025 season. So make sure you guys stick around to the very end to see all of my notes. But before we get into today's takeaways, make sure you guys click that subscribe button because tomorrow on Wednesday, the NFL schedule officially releases all 17 games for the Washington Commanders. We are going to be reacting to right here on the channel tomorrow. So whenever that leaks or whenever that comes out, make sure you are subscribed to the channel right now because we're going to be doing our coverage of the NFL schedule release tomorrow. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now if you haven't already and join our family of over 15,000 Commanders fans already subscribed to the channel. So let's get to my takeaways here. First one, let's address the Dan Quinn t-shirt controversy here. Dan Quinn, the new head coach of the Washington Commanders, he addressed the media before practice today, and he was asked about the controversy surrounding this shirt right here, where it has a Commanders logo, but it has kind of the old school Redskins feathers on there, trying to tie back kind of the old with the new. Some people are saying, it's connecting back to a racist team name and all these different things, and there's definitely been a lot of drama and criticism surrounding Coach Quinn for wearing that t-shirt. He addressed those criticisms today before practice. I think one of the parts of me taking this job, I was excited to bridge the past and the present, and what a cool privilege that is to do. I also recognize there's a lot of layers to that, so it was a great lesson for me. And what I really hate is any attention that would have taken away from these rookies and this awesome crew. So nobody... so all these different things, and he's talking about how it's a good lesson for him. So my opinion on the whole deal when it comes to that t-shirt is, honestly, I just don't really think there was anything necessarily wrong with that t-shirt. It didn't say Redskins. It didn't have the old logo on there. It just had the feathers on there, and it's like, if you can't have feathers on there, then it's like the Chiefs shouldn't exist and the Braves shouldn't exist, and any team that has connections to Native American culture shouldn't exist whatsoever. And I actually thought it was a pretty interesting way to tie back, the old logo and the history of this football team and tie it in with the new logo and the future and the present of this current, of this Washington football franchise. I know a lot of former players spoke up for Dan Quinn in the recent days, saying that they liked it, that they felt it was a really good way to tie the old in with the new, and I completely agree with those players and those people that were a part of this organization back during the Redskins era. But however, I do understand that, like Dan Quinn said here, there's layers to this, and it was a distraction, right? It was something that took away from the discussion around this football team and how excited everybody around this fan base should be for this football team. So I wouldn't expect Dan to be wearing that kind of t-shirt or that logo anymore. It wasn't even a team-sanctioned t-shirt. So I think it's something here that the team is going to try to stay away from and try to stay away from that distraction moving forward. But what say you guys? The Commanders have been talking about changing a potential logo, changing the team name in future years. Do you think the Washington Commanders, or whatever their team name moving forward, should bring back feathers, a part of the new logo, to try to, incorporate the old back in with the new? Let me know down there in the comment section with a yes or a no for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, go down there in the comment section and give me a yes or no. Now going from kind of the outside football stuff to more of the on-the-field sort of deal here. Brandon Coleman, the rookie tackle out of TCU, was working out at right tackle today after working a lot on the left side during rookie minicamp this past weekend. And I do think that Coleman probably has a little bit of his work cut out for him here during this offseason program. Being a third-round rookie, you're definitely not going to be handed the starting job or anything like that. You're going to have to earn everything through the offseason program, all the way through training camp, leading up into the season. You have to play well during the preseason games and all these different things. You have to really earn your stripes if you are Brandon Coleman. And I do kind of like that they're playing him on both sides here, trying to see, where he fits in best, all these different things. And I do think the Commanders' focus right now is to put the two best tackles on the field, period. Whether that's Andrew Wiley and Brandon Coleman, whether that's Coleman and Lucas, whether that's Lucas and Wiley, no matter what the best combination is, I think Dan Quinn and Kliff Kingsbury are going to put the best possible combination out there. So coming up here on the Commanders Report, more day one takeaways for your Washington Commanders here on day one during or of day one of OTAs. But before we get into it here, make sure you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today and use our code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. And right now, PrizePicks has specials for new and returning users alike for the NBA playoffs. And we know that football season's been over for a while, folks, but the action on the hardwood is just heating up with this year's NBA title on the line. Right now, there is no shortage of high-stakes NBA basketball moments this time of the year. So get in on the excitement with our friends at PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. That is, if you know ball. You can see my PrizePicks projections for tonight's NBA action here. I got the more on Anthony Edwards' points. Got to get to at least 30. I think he's going to get that job done, deliver the dub for the T-Wolves over the Nuggets, and they'll take the less on Josh Hart points and assists, and then the more on Tyrese Halliburton points for that matchup between the Knicks and Pacers tonight. The NBA playoffs are now in full force, and you can pick more or less right now to make some money on the biggest stage of basketball. PrizePicks is simple to play. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and then watch the winnings roll in. You can get started now if you haven't already at prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today and use our code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. With our friends at PrizePicks, you can pick more or pick less. It's really that easy. All right, now let's get into the wide receiver group here, because it's nice to see at practice Terry McLaurin taking time out of practice to kind of talk with Luke McCaffrey, the third-round pick wide receiver out of Rice, and kind of, go over and give him a couple pointers. He was doing some footwork stuff with him today, and that's definitely what you want to see, that combination of veteran leadership with the rookies' eagerness to learn from the veteran mentors here. And we know Terry McLaurin's one of the best overall wide receivers in the National Football League. I know McCaffrey definitely looks up to him as a mentor and as somebody that he can learn a lot from and kind of help expedite the process of him becoming a true pro in the National Football League. So it's really nice to see those guys connecting on that level. And then when it comes to Jaden Daniels, the #2 overall pick and new franchise quarterback here for the Washington Commanders, I mean, just listening to all the players post-practice at their press conferences, everybody was talking about how good Jaden Daniels looks and how pumped they are to play with this kid. I mean, once again at practice, he was throwing, super clean throwing mechanics. He was throwing accurate footballs. He was completing passes in the competition periods. I mean, this kid just looks the part of a starting NFL quarterback already. And we've seen people around the league, these rookies, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, having some struggles in the early days of practice with their respective teams. But Jaden Daniels is really in that category of player that really seems to be taking his new role with his new NFL team in stride. And he's definitely on a trajectory here to be the starting quarterback for your Washington Commanders in Week 1. And the players around him are responding to him. Jahan Dotson took the press conference stand today and said, I wanted Jaden Daniels to come here to Washington. He was the guy I want throwing me the football here for the next 10 years. So that's all very exciting to hear. Even the defensive players are talking about how excited they are for Jaden to be the new QB1 here in Washington, and all the energy is going in the positive direction here. Then the final thing here, and probably my biggest takeaway today, was actually during Kliff Kingsbury's media availability today, and he really went over his approach to building an offense for year one, and specifically for a rookie quarterback here with Jaden Daniels. So here is what Kliff Kingsbury had to say at his press conference today about building the Commanders' offense in year one. The one major thing I try to do is make this year one of the Commanders' offense and not year 5 of the Cardinals' offense. You want to start back with a very basic install and then build it and grow it and go from there. I wanted to make sure I didn't start in a spot that would overwhelm anybody. And as an OC, that's always the tricky part. You have a lot of good stuff you've collected over the years. You got to make sure it's simple enough to have confidence and build and grow together. There's stuff that Daniels does really well or was really good at in college. To me, that's a good starting point to build off that and get that comfort level going early and take it from there. Now, you guys know that I have my trepidations about Kliff Kingsbury. I don't think he has the best track record at developing quarterback footwork, developing quarterback mental processing ability, all these different things. But I do like the things that were said today at the press conference and the approach that he is taking to a year one here with a new NFL team. He understands that you can't just roll out the same playbook for Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals that they were running in year 4 of his regime as a head coach in year 1 of this offense here with the Commanders with all new players and especially a rookie quarterback. And I really like that Kliff said that he's going to really build this offense around the strengths of Jaden Daniels specifically, saying that they're going to go back to a lot of the stuff that Jaden ran in college that he's already comfortable with, things like slot fades, things like backside dig routes, all these different things that he ran there at the LSU Tigers and he was able to win a Heisman Trophy with. Those are the things that Kliff Kingsbury is going to be implementing into this offense year 1, and then they're going to grow and kind of build Jaden's skill set as an NFL quarterback off of that foundation. I think that is absolutely the right approach to take here as the OC of the Washington Commanders. And even though I do have my concerns about the track record of Kliff Kingsbury as an offensive play caller, and I think his scheme might be a little bit collegey and all these different things, I think with a guy like Jaden Daniels, who's relatively polished in terms of his mechanics and somebody that's extremely athletic and talented, I think that this type of offense can work with a player like Jaden Daniels. And honestly, this type of offense in the NFL, I think needs and it requires a hyper-talented quarterback to really function well at the NFL level. Look at Kyler Murray versus anybody else that ran this offense during that Arizona Cardinals run. It was night and day, right? So having a guy like Jaden Daniels, I think, is really going to be an X factor in whether Kliff Kingsbury is successful here with the Washington Commanders. All right, guys, make sure you guys go down there in the comment section right now and let me know what's going to happen first. Will Kliff Kingsbury, A, be fired, type F if you think he gets fired, or do you think he's going to become a head coach for another franchise before he gets fired from the Washington Commanders? Type F if you think he's going to get fired first, or type H if you think he's going to do a good job here and get a head coaching job elsewhere. All right, that'll be it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate all of your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now because tomorrow we're going to have 2 videos. We're going to have an early video, and then we're going to be having our schedule release video where I react to all 17 games of the Washington Commanders schedule in 2024. You're not going to want to miss tomorrow's action. It's going to be a great one, so make sure you click that subscribe button right now.